Hey everyone, and welcome back to the series. This video is about how to write a letter. Remember, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Any questions from any of the videos that you have, please leave a comment or go to my social medias. It's Hana.iam on Instagram or I am Hana.iam on Twitter. So, what should a letter have? Letters are designed to be persuasive. So you're either to convince you to do something, to think a certain way, or to make you feel something specific. So it needs an address and a sign-off to show that it's a letter. Can be formal or informal. That will be based on the question they ask. So if they tell you a specific audience, or if they tell you to write formally or informally, you'll know from the question. And if you get asked to write an email, just make sure you adapt your writing to the audience and purpose. You still need to do an address at the top, and you'll still need to do a sign-off at the bottom. So the assessment objectives, again, are to communicate clearly, effectively and imaginatively, selecting and adopting tone, style and register for different forms, purpose and audiences. Organize information and ideas using structural and grammatical features to support coherence and cohesion of text. Candidates must use a range of vocabulary and sentence structures for clarity, purpose and effect, with accurate spelling and punctuation. So here is a question. You're going to write a letter to your local council in which you argue that there should be more facilities for teenagers in your local area. So you need to always remember GAP, the genre, the audience and the purpose. In this case, the genre is a letter, the audience is your local council, and your purpose is to argue for the teenagers in your local area. So here is a quick plan I wrote up. It's not the clearest, but is a way to jot down my ideas before I started to write answers. So teenagers have lost a lot of facilities and need more spaces. Youth clubs and teenage-only activities. Avoid crime and trouble. Allow them to meet people who are a positive influence on them. Now the ones in colour are to help me remember the genre, audience and purpose. So audience is adults of your local council. So vocabulary needs to be advanced and rhetorical techniques need to be used. So plans don't have to be elaborate with a lot of ideas. It's just supposed to help you later on when you're writing so you don't get stuck. The best plans are the ones where you jot down everything, but it doesn't mean you have to use it all. It just means that later on when you do think, I don't know what I want to write, you can briefly look at it and it should help prompt you in which direction you want to go. So, sample answer 1. Dear Council, I am writing this letter to ask you to give more facilities to teenagers like myself. We need places to go such as youth clubs and homework centres. Unfortunately, because we do not have these facilities, many of us are falling into the wrong crowd. It is your job as the adults of our local council to make sure we do not get into trouble. Maybe you could invest some more money into our youth clubs so that they are open more and we have a safe place to hang out and not get into trouble. From Annabelle. So, analysis. What went well? So the correct address at the start was towards the council. The answer introduced the topic and it used inclusive language to create an emotional bond by using words like we, us, and myself. What to improve? Wrong sign-off. Using from at the end of a formal letter to a council is not the right sign-off. No linguistic techniques were used. Language was average. It wasn't as advanced as it could be. It needs more punctuation because there weren't enough advanced punctuation used. There was commas and there were full stops, but that was about all. And it used slang. So using a phrase like hang out is informal. It might be something you use in your everyday language, but it's not what they are looking for when they want you to write a formal letter. Sample answer 2. Dear Councillor Thomas, our community is sorely lacking in facilities, those that are aimed at our teenagers. Due to recent governmental cuts, the few facilities that were available to them have been closed or reduced their hours. Consequently, there has been a 28% rise in teenage delinquency in this borough. This number seems to be increasing. What will you do about it? Access to youth clubs and homework centres will exponentially decrease the desire for teenagers to join gangs or become involved in crime. By keeping teenagers occupied, you will be helping both their future and the community. I would appreciate it if you and your colleagues would take this opportunity to improve the local community, as well as positively influence the next generation. Yours sincerely, July Roberts. So, what went well? Appropriate vocabulary was used. They used the correct address and sign-off. Remember, if you use the person's name at the beginning, so in this case, Dear Councillor Thomas, your sign-off should be yours sincerely. If you use a generic address, such as Dear Local Council, your sign-off should be yours faithfully. And there were linguistic techniques used. So there was rhetorical questions were asked, hyperbole was used, there was alliteration, and there were facts and figures used. So what to improve? More punctuation could have been used in order to break things up a bit more. Detail for your suggestions would have been a nice way, so explaining what they could do more specifically. And it did have a bit of an impersonal tone. It distanced itself. So instead of saying us teenagers, it was the teenagers of the community. So what to remember? You're persuading them to do something specific, something that you want. So rhetorical techniques are necessary. You don't have to use all of them, but some have to be in your text. If you don't do an address at the start and a sign-off at the end, then it is not a letter, which means you have not done the correct genre. But you have to use the right address and sign-off for the letter style given to you in the question. Formal style will have to have a different address and sign-off, and informal is going to have a different address and sign-off. You need to know the differences, and you need to know the right one to use. Because if you use the wrong one, you may as well have not have used it at all. So, was this useful? Share, like and subscribe. Leave a comment for any questions. And I'll see you next time. The next video will be about persuasive techniques and rhetorical devices. It's to help you know what to use and the different forms they are. Okay? So, see ya.